Hey folks, thanks for tuning into this episode of Elk Talk. This is the last of our system series where we talk about the seasonal periods that we get to hunt elk. And the last one is the late season. We've already talked about early season, pre-rut, peak rut, post-rut. Now we're going to talk about my favorite season of the year to rifle hunt, the late season. To me, the late season is from November 1st, anytime thereafter. And we have a lot of things working in our favor if we're willing to put in the effort and energy. Let's always keep in mind what I've said every time. To kill a bull elk, you gotta find a bull elk. The number one reason people don't kill a bull elk on public land is they haven't thought about where am I gonna find them. And the key to finding the bull elk in any of these seasons, in this case the late season, is knowing what their needs are. And there is no doubt that in this late season, the number one need is sanctuary and survival. I got to get through another rifle season so that I can make it to next year. And they've figured it out. They have found places where year after year, they can get away from the hunting pressure and survive. Yeah, they need to eat as they can. The weather's getting colder, so it's putting more demands on their body. It's forcing them to stay out longer. But now, these bulls, these public land bulls, and I'm talking about the mature bulls that have left the cows, they're now in bachelor groups. The late season period now puts a few things in our advantage. Weather, the snow, like you see here, is going to force the elk to do two things. They're going to have to start moving towards wintering areas to find quality food. And they're going to have to feed longer, which means they're going to be up and about for a longer period of time. That makes it more likely we're going to spot them. When I'm looking for spots that are late season spots, I'm looking at, okay, where's their summer and transition areas? Where's their winter area? Most often, these sanctuary areas are going to be somewhere between the summer area and the winter area. They're not all the way to their winter grounds yet. But their sanctuary areas are going to be the roughest, ugliest, nastiest, most remote spots between the summer area and the winter area that they can get a little bit of food and they can stay away from hunters. If you have snow, snow is a very, very good thing, a big benefit to the hunter during these late seasons for a couple of reasons. Most of my hunting and scouting is from a distance. And if there's snow on those mountainsides and those openings and those parks, just by glassing with my spotting scope or binoculars, I can look at tracks in the snow even from half mile, a mile away, and I can almost tell you what's going on with those tracks. If those tracks are just lined out in a big line, it tells me those elk are going somewhere. They're not hanging around. So if I'm seeing those tracks there and it's just a big line of tracks in a straight line, those elk are probably somewhere else. I'm probably not going to see those elk today. The reverse of that is if I'm seeing elk tracks meandering around, kind of no real pattern to them, just zigzagging, almost like someone's walking around in the snow, odds are those elk were up feeding and they're going to be not too far away. And if I see a big group of elk tracks, say it's 30 or 40 sets of tracks going across the hillside, those are cows. Those are cows and young bulls. Not what I'm looking for. Now if I see 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of elk tracks and they're going some direction, and they're a little bit higher up the hill or higher up the mountain than those big piles of tracks I saw lower, those are probably bulls. There's a lot you can tell in this late season by looking at snow, at tracks in the snow. They give you a clue of what kind of elk you're looking at, whether they're nearby or they're long gone. And that gives you some confidence of, all right, these spots I picked on my map, they look like the kind of places a bull elk would be. So take your map, sit down and look at, all right, if this is my unit, which direction are the elk going to generally go as they move towards their wintering ground? Know that the cows and the young bulls are going to be lower They're gonna be the first to get to the wintering areas. You'd be surprised how much snow, how much cold a big bull can deal with before he's gotta move down with those other elk. Look higher up the mountain. Look in spots that other hunters don't want to get to. And don't just walk around and stumble around the woods looking for this. The late season is a glassing period if ever there was one. Get yourself to a location where you can cover 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 of the spots you have on your map. And glass. Don't be afraid to build the fire. I don't know how many times we build the fire while we're sitting there glassing with our spotting stool. And we're looking and we're looking. And if we see elk, the beauty of it is they are not going anywhere unless they're disturbed. They're gonna stay somewhere nearby. So even if we can't get there today, we'll be there tomorrow morning at daylight and we'll kill one of them. Or if we see them in the morning and they go in bed, by afternoon we'll be set up on them. And they'll come out and we'll kill one of them. And the beauty of these late season spots are that the elk are going to be there year after year after year. To kill an elk, you gotta find an elk. And in the late season, think sanctuary, sanctuary, sanctuary. If hunters wanna go there, elk don't. If hunters don't wanna go there, elk probably will. Find sanctuary spots near little pockets of food, and you will find elk in the late season, and you will fill your tag.